Do you remember last week when I said, I'm going to show up here once a week? I will be here. I'm making that commitment to you. It's been 6 days, and I'm already really regretting it. Last week I shared with you how I felt this hope. There's lots of hope in my own personal story of sexual abuse and the weight that I carry and the ministry that I want to do deeply and desperately with my family, with my daughter, with my extended family, here with you, with God and the Bible, all of that. Like I feel hopeful. And the very next day after I had uploaded that video to you, my family had something terrible happen. I'm not going to go into any details because it's not just my story. It is a large family story that is complicated and tragic and sad, and that takes time to unravel. But one, I'm wondering if you would be willing to pray for my family. From the 90-year-old in my family to the 6-year-old, it's hard and complicated and confusing for everyone. But I sat there on that Monday, remembering, almost wondering if that hope that I felt, it's like, God, was that even real? Because this feels so hopeless. Have you ever been on a merry-go-round as a child? Do you remember holding on as a kid and everything is whirling and it's as if there's nothing stable underneath your feet? And that's what this feels like. Like there's nothing stable. I can't quite get my footing. And for me, my footing is always, how do I think? How do I think about the situation? And I could not, and really cannot, seem to get my footing back under me. I feel at a loss. But as I pondered that with God, asking him, why did you drop hope just sweetly, down what seemed like into me, and you knew this would be coming? How should I think about this? And how should I think about you? And I could find myself reaching in a way that felt like me reaching, of like trying to find the right answer. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shift my eyes on you, God, and just think about you. And my sense was, yes, but. And all it is a sense. Is it me? Is it God? I don't know. I can just tell you my experience with it of a gentle yes, but that's not where I want you focused. It's like, where am I to focus? And this word came into my mind that I'm not sure I've ever given much thought to. And that word is lament. As if a response to the question, God, where do you want my eyes to fix and focus as the earth is swirling under my feet and I can't quite gain my balance? I sensed a gentle, I want you to lament, and to lament deeply. Now, I heard that or saw that word in my mind and I thought, I don't even really know what that means. And I so don't have the mental or emotional energy to go on some great studying of the word lament. Like I don't have it in me. This does not happen often. This is not typically what I would do, but because I'm at the end, or feel at the end of my rope, I went to a resource that I trust, which is Desiring God, and I just typed in the word lament. And the very first article that popped up, article by a guy that I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to read you just a paragraph of it. I will put a link below to the article if you want to check out the whole thing. But it says this: lament is different than crying because lament is a form of prayer. Now, what I'm doing as I'm reading this, I'm never taking it as fact, but I'm making note that according to this guy, lament is a form of prayer. Noted. It is more than just an expression of sorrow or venting of emotion. Lament talks to God about pain, and here's where the difference is. And it has a unique purpose: trust. It is a divinely given invitation to pour out our fears, frustrations, and sorrows for the purpose of helping us to renew our confidence, or I would say, hope in God. And as I really kind of skimmed this article, it just gave me like a little bit of a framework because I've given such little thought to lamenting, which now my questions become as I go to the Bible. He's done some of the heavy lifting for me. Where I can now use this as a filter. Is lamenting a form of prayer? Is the purpose of lamenting to put our hope and confidence in who God is? Like a place to put the sorrow and pain and confusion? My hunch would be, yes, that's correct. But now it gives me just a little bit of a narrowing of something that felt like I don't know where to begin. So that's what I'll be taking this weekend to do, is one, I went ahead and took off my phone and iPad, all of my distractions, which are Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube being my biggest distraction. And I don't think lamenting is a one and done, and that this weekend I'm going to lament and then be over it. That would be foolish and silly. I actually think it probably will encompass this year, one of figuring this out. How to specifically take the stuff with my family, the stuff with my own past, and truly lament it. When our daughter Adora died, I felt I was able to truly lament and grieve with God her death, the suffering that came along with her death. But this stuff with my family and my childhood and sexual abuse, that has not been the same. I don't know how to invite God in on that. And I've been asking myself actually for months, why? Like why is that? Why does this feel like I've got it like over here segmented off? And I don't know why, even as I ask God, why? The only hunch I have is that all of this began so early as a human for me. I did not know how to bring these troubles and sorrows as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old to God. I was left with just human instinct, which was to shove it all down and take care of it myself. And so I think that's a really well-established pattern that I'm unsure of how to break. And I think a part of this lamenting, specific to my family, specific to abuse that has taken place for me and in the generations in the past in my family, it's like a stronghold in my family to lament it, to grieve it, with the purpose of putting my hope and trust and confidence in God. But I don't mean rushing to that too quickly. I mean to deeply grieve it. So I'll start this weekend by removing distractions and giving myself time and space to think and to write out prayers to God. Exploring the Bible with no pressure on myself to find an answer, but more to just experience God and just see what happens, but to fix my attention on to this idea of lamenting with the hope that my world will stop spinning and I'll be able to find my footing a bit, even if that footing is just in sorrow, and sadness for all the pain and loss that we as a family have experienced. I opened this video with saying I was regretting saying that I would show up here every week. There's truth to that. Usually in joking, there's some truth to the jokes. I'm also really glad I made the commitment because God knows that I need the accountability to actually show up. And my sense was this year, I'm just to show up on here, no matter what the showing up looks like. I have a feeling most of the time it's not going to be pretty, but it's showing up. And so I want to make it clear, again, for my own self and to you, that I am committed for this year to show up every week. And even if it's a 2-minute video or a 30-second video, that I will be here. Sundays at 2 p.m., I will be here. As long as my body is functioning and I'm upright, I will keep to that intention. So, I will see you next week, 2 p.m. Sunday. I will see you then.